What's up, guys? I'm here with Craig Cleary and Justin Pickell here, and we're going to be going over his first subject to deal he's got in El Paso, Texas. This is also his first deal ever. So let's break down what was your journey to learn about real estate, what got you into it, and what inspired you?
Yeah, man. So before I ever, really got serious in the company with Justin, closed my first deal, of course. I've known you since freshman year of high school?
More like fifth grade.
Oh yeah, fifth grade. Yeah, we went to middle school together.
Yep.
So, yeah, after I graduated, I went to go play some baseball for a little bit, and I was just trying to kind of figure out what my niche was in life, and I came to realize that I really didn't have the love of the sport like I did when I was younger, and so I quit and I kind of went back to school, but
You transitioned.
Yeah, I transitioned,
Mm-hmm.
and then I transitioned from school to the business because I seen some of my friends who I actually introduced to him,
Mm-hmm.
like closers and disposition managers. But yeah, so I seen them making some good money and, the business progressing, making $100K every month. And, I wanted to be a part of it and I wanted to build my sales skills and all that. So
Okay.
that was that's how I came apart.
Beautiful. So when you were getting started, what were some of the first steps you had to learn and understand about real estate before you even got on the phone?
Yeah, a couple things, man. So number one, I just had to understand what wholesaling is. It was a tricky concept to get at first, grasp.
Mm-hmm.
But really, wholesaling, it's a group of people.
Mm-hmm.
You can be a one-man show or you can be a team. They have the acquisitions. They have the dispositions team. So the acquisitions, of course, is acquiring the deal from the seller or agent.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the dispositions who gets that deal the acquisition team got and goes and finds a buyer for it.
Mm-hmm. So for this acquisition, we got through a realtor.
Yes.
All right.
A direct to agent.
So how did you learn to talk to these realtors?
I learned from you, and I learned from, R.J. Bates, Jerry Norton, Pace Morby,
Mm-hmm.
just a bunch of people who have already done sales.
Yeah.
And just watching sales videos and training, and really just hopping on the phone and giving it a go, because that's how you're going to learn.
100%.
You need to give it a try.
Okay.
I learned a lot about real estate. I mean,
Okay.
I had to learn what subject to deals were.
Mm-hmm.
Understand the process of buyers buying them.
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn about cash deals. I had to learn about seller finance deals, mortgage methods,
Mm-hmm.
all different types of strategies to purchase properties.
Yeah. But specifically when you were I provided you a no equity list from batch leads. What did you learn while calling this list, getting those no's, those maybes, those potential yeses during that process?
Yeah, man, I learned a lot from calling the no equity list. I learned grit. That's the first thing. It takes a while.
Mm-hmm.
You can be making 100 calls a day for weeks on end and struggle to get a deal under contract. I mean, my first deal I got under contract was 2 weeks into calling the sub 2 list. Took me about a week to kind of put things together, and then after that second week or that first week, I got a better understanding of the list. I learned more about sub 2. I learned more about the objections, personalities agents have, how to build rapport with people, connections.
Yeah, rapport, connections. So you have to follow up with these people.
Yes. So it's not just, you're going to call them once and it's a done deal. It takes process. It could be 2 weeks before, you could talk to an agent the first week and not sign till the third week, It takes days of follow-up and assuring the seller,
100%.
talking over the objections, all that stuff.
Agreed. So it took you about 1 week of learning, focusing with me, right? You were.
Yeah, so we were watching videos,
Yeah.
taking notes, and role-playing was good too.
Yeah. I think I had you guys do a week of learning before I even let you get on the phones.
Yeah, that's right. And then you kind of just threw us on.
Yeah.
To give it a shot.
Yep. So then after you got on the phones, it took you 2 weeks to get this under contract, right?
I swear it was just 2 weeks.
Okay.
It might have been 3.
Okay.
This was a while ago, so.
Yeah,
But
2 to 3 weeks.
2 to
All
3
right.
weeks.
So now, this was from cold calling, and now, what was the negotiation process with the client? when you first saw the deal, you saw the mortgage balance. What was the mortgage balance?
The mortgage balance was $236,515.
Okay.
Yep. The PITI, which is the principal, interest, taxes, insurance, the monthly payment, was $1945.
$1945. All right.
And then
what's the interest rate?
it didn't have the best interest rate. It had a 6.1
Wow.
interest rate. Yeah.
6%.
Not something that's appealing as a subject to deal, right?
Yeah, because considering the market rates were only about 6 to 7 at this time.
Yeah, you're not getting that
Yeah.
that good of a rate.
Mhm.
Yeah. So my key things with the negotiation with this deal was just figuring out, they didn't have a lot of equity at all. The lady couldn't afford to make the payments anymore.
Yeah.
So she was really motivated and ready to go with this one. And I believe she had about roughly $20K of equity in room, but she's got to pay the agent commission, which is what we covered.
Yeah.
And then
I think you put about like $1,500 towards the seller, and then like $8,000 to the agent.
Yes. Originally, we gave the seller a little more. But we can talk about this later on. But there was a memorandum on the property.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yep. That cut into the entry fee, and we don't want it coming out of our pocket. We can talk about the assignments later, but yeah.
So
the down payment was about $10K.
Yeah, it was $10K, but then you had to get this reduction, right?
Yes, I did get a reduction. Yep. We got the reduction because of the memorandum.
Yeah. So, but did that money come to us, or like was that going to the memorandum person?
That was going to the memorandum person.
Okay.
Yes.
So the memorandum person paid his $2,000, and now we had this at $10,000 total still, but we had about $8,000 going to the realtor, and then all the sellers' money was gone to the memorandum.
Yeah, it was pretty unfortunate because this was just a couple days before closing, and I was trying to figure out with the, the buyer. Unfortunately, he wouldn't cover it, so we had to talk to the agent and figure out what we can do to get this done. Obviously, the seller was motivated, and we were put in a tough position, but things happen sometimes.
For sure. Okay, cool. So now, throughout this process, we had to get this deal disposed. So now you got it under contract after 2-3 weeks, and we passed it on to the dispo team.
Yeah.
So
that one was a process.
For sure. So let me break this down.
With this one. It was a 7-year balloon.
7-year balloon.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And do you want me to talk about the key things I look in for a subject to deal?
Yeah. So how did you end up getting a 7-year balloon on this? That's pretty important here.
Yeah. So usually when you have a subject to deal, the mortgage is either amortized for 27, 28 years, depending on when they bought the house and of course when they got the mortgage. And when I first talked to the agent, I was electing to take over the mortgage for the rest of the loan term. But the seller wasn't having it. They were looking to buy it. They didn't want their loan. They don't want a loan still in their name and then not be able to buy property in the future and their credit and stuff.
Well, they can still buy a property. It's mainly just their credit they were worried about.
Their credit. But yeah, so she wanted a 7-year balloon. She didn't want us to take it over for the loan term. So this basically means that we have to refinance the loan at that 7-year mark. But yeah, so that's not necessarily a good thing about this deal. I look for about 6 different things in a subject to deal that makes it good. First thing is I want to make sure that it's in a good area.
Okay, good area.
Right?
Very important.
Yes, very, very important. We're looking for metropolitan, urbanized areas for these deals.
$500K in the county would be phenomenal.
Exactly. You could do 200, but when you start going down to the 5-digit numbers, that's when it's the rental rates and all that. It's getting a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Agreed there.
Yeah. Second thing is, this property was turnkey. It was built in 2022, so that's great. That means the property, you could live in it instantly after closing. you didn't have to make any rehab on the property. So that's one other good
It
thing.
was built in 2022, right?
Yeah, 2022. Next thing I look at is the mortgage balance. I like deals that are lower entry, no equity, so the sellers can't really budge. The sellers are probably breaking even, if not coming to the table with money. So I'm looking for a deal that I don't have to give them a big down, so we don't have to get into the property for a lot. So that brings me up to the entry fee. You want this to be at least, as a wholesaler, probably 5% under, depending on how good the deal is. You could go more. But you got to remember that when we sell it to the buyer, we're going to want to add our fee on top. And we have to understand where the buyers are buying these deals at.
That's very important.
Yeah. And then, of course, interest rate, PITI, very important. You want to see if the interest rate is good for a multitude of reasons, RAP, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Cash flows, long-term rental, short-term rental, mid-term rental. But yeah, these details were not that good.
Yeah.
There was no long-term rental strategy.
Okay. So what was the long-term rent? Do you know? Because most of the time we do want the long-term rent to break even. In actually finding a buyer, that's the best way to get a best chance.
Yeah, this one was actually negative. So it didn't have any rental strategies besides
doing a wrap.
Exactly. If you look at the location, it's located in El Paso, Texas. And we ended up finding a guy that he has a little niche for this, but he basically has these Mexican people with no credit. They can't get a loan, right?
Yeah, they can't get a loan.
Yeah.
They're right on the border of Mexico,
Exactly.
so it's very easy to find someone who doesn't need any citizenship, any bank checks, any credit checks into this house. All they need is a valid ID, and they can buy this house with a down payment and the monthly payment. They just got to afford it. So we marketed this property. Let me get over here.
Yep,
So,
excuse me real quick.
So we did investor lift and got it out to a lot of buyers.
Yes, and then we also did Facebook.
Yeah.
Thanks
Facebook.
to Pace Morby. We were in the creative financing group, Pace Morby Creative Financing.
Yeah.
So we posted on there, and that's a great way to find buyers for these deals because it's a big community of people.
All phenomenal people who try to help each other.
Exactly.
Big time.
Invest, build relationships, lenders, all that stuff.
Big time. So I believe this one, though, came from Investor Lift to find this great person who does wrap deals.
Yes. Shout out to Robert Wensley.
Yep. Big time. So if you ever want to use Investor Lift, they came out with a free version that you can use. Or if you want a JV, you can JV with us, and we'll find a buyer for your deal with over the 5 million buyers that we have access to. So,
Heard it first.
yes, sir. And if you need negotiation,
Come to me, man.
yeah.
I'll get it done.
So, now it took about 2 weeks to get this figured out on Investor Lift, though.
Yeah, we didn't have much interest. You know.
It was a pretty tough deal.
Yeah, there's not a lot of wrap buyers out there, and of course, there weren't many exit strategies for, the investors in the area. But I'm glad we found this one dude.
Yeah, big time. So you got this property under contract in April. So you got started in early March, and then this deal closed in mid-May. So it took about 2 months of full cycle of getting this deal to the finish line.
Yes.
So now you need to understand things take time in your real estate journey. So you want to stay persistent, work on it every day for hours upon hours with focus calls, focus learning, and you can create results. So maybe consider pulling a no equity list, learning how to get through these failures, and stay excited during these phone calls, grab people's attention, and see if they might be interested in sub 2 if it's no equity, or if you call free and clear, seller financing, or cash.
Absolutely.
And if you see if they're interested and need help negotiating, Craig will help you.
Yes. And I like to look at closing as, output times skill multiplied by time equals money. At the end of the day, it comes down to you, and you got to put in the work. You got to make at least 100 calls a day on these lists. You got to be reaching out to these agents. You got to be following up with the agents you talked to yesterday. It doesn't just sign immediately. It takes follow-up, weeks, days, months. I've done deals where it's 4 or 5 months of follow-up to really get it through the finish line.
Yeah. I closed one recently where it took a year of follow-up.
That's right. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, just stay persistent. Get on the phones. Build your sales skill. Close some deals.
Yeah. So it was phenomenal getting to know you, Craig. Where can people reach out to you so they can do more deals with you?
You can reach out to me a couple ways. Reach out to me on Facebook, Craig Cleary. Instagram, cleary.craig. We can hop on the phone. We can discuss some stuff. We can go over deals, underwriting. I'm open to connecting with wholesalers and building their business as well.
Awesome. So you heard it here first. It's time for you guys to get your first subject to deal. Now, continuously take action, and you'll have it in a blink of an eye.